Throughout the beginning of Tangled the series' third season, an enchanted girl has been whispering into the ear of Cassandra destructive, horrible, and evil thoughts. But who is this spirit and why does she crave the Moonstone to rise over the Sundrop? Today we're going to discover who is this enchanted girl. Hello, I'm Isaac from Whatso Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people. On my channel, I focus on spreading magic by discussing Disney, so if you are new here, consider subscribing. The little blue spirit at first seemed to me to be a possibly neutral entity that was tied to Cassandra in some way. Although I was skeptical when we first heard her voice, when we were first revealed to her form, she didn't seem to be truly intimidating or malicious, but over time it's become clear that is anything but the case. The enchanted girl is absolutely manipulating Rapunzel's best friend. So let's recap what she has done so far. We first came into contact with this entity back in the House of Yesterday's Tomorrow in the episode Rapunzeltopia, when she was calling to Cassandra to enter her mysterious bright door. At that point, we didn't know what she looked like or what that voice's intentions were, but at the time you better believe that I had a bad feeling about what was going to happen to Cassandra when that door shut. At the beginning of the third season of Tangled the series, we learned in the episode Rapunzel's Return that the voice Cassandra had heard was tied to this tiny blue ghost-like person who had been referred to as the Enchanted Girl. This girl was the one who guided Cassandra to learn the truth about her mother being Gothel, the one who turned her against Rapunzel and convinced her to steal the mystical Moonstone for herself. The spirit in short told Cassandra that Rapunzel stole her mother away from her and continues to steal what she deserves. If Cassandra desired to find happiness, she would have to take it for herself. With that instilled in Cassandra, she left Rapunzel and her old friends from Corona behind with the Black Rocks on her side. But that wouldn't be the case for long. In Return of the King, we see after being unable to control the Black Rocks as she once had in the Dark Kingdom, the voice of the Enchanted Girl calls out to Cassandra again. And in Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, we witness Cassandra being told by the Enchanted Girl that she was there to help her to master the Moonstone's power. She kindly tells Cassandra the stone responds to hatred and anger, so if she wants to unleash that magic, she will have to tap into her rage and remember what Rapunzel had done to her. Later on in the episode Beginnings, we see that when Cassandra begins to march towards Corona, the spirit continues to push Cass away from Rapunzel by acknowledging that she can sense Cass's guilt, but suggests that Rapunzel deserved Cassandra's betrayal. She also goes on to suggest that Rapunzel has taken some of the Moonstone's power as well.
When Rapunzel touched the Moonstone's black rocks, they gave her their protective power.
The Enchanted Girl then goes on to point out that even though Cassandra is in possession of the Moonstone, that the power is not completely hers, since Rapunzel holds some of it within herself. Through every word, the spirit pushed Cass farther and farther away from her friend, and we can clearly see that this brought joy to the Enchanted Girl. Oh goodness gracious, she's got a creepy smile. But of course, where the Enchanted Girl's true cruel intentions begin to really come through is in the episode Be Very Afraid. Again, we see Cassandra's inability to control the Black Rocks, only this time the attempt begins to truly cripple Cass as she questions if she even has a destiny. But no worries, the blue spirit has an answer to that. The Enchanted Girl makes it very clear what she believes Cassandra's destiny to be: to destroy Rapunzel. Yep, the Enchanted Girl is totally evil. Suddenly, after realizing this truth that she might have to end Rapunzel's life, red rocks that represented her fear set forth to Corona since the Moonstone was tied to her feelings. Inevitably, of course, Rapunzel fights off the red rocks that came their way and disconnected Cassandra from them to save the kingdom. With this defeat, Cassandra is devastated, for while she hadn't meant to send those rocks to Rapunzel, she had once again been bested, and to leverage this moment, the Enchanted Girl reiterates what Cass must do.
Rapunzel can strip you of your power, Cassandra. If you do not destroy her, she will destroy you.
The Enchanted Girl, up to this point, has convinced Cass that she will have to defeat Rapunzel to achieve her destiny. So the question remains then, who could this entity be? Now, one of the most fascinating things about this girl is actually that she is blue. That might not seem significant at first until we look back to the other spirits we have seen before in Tangled's world. We have seen entities like Ruthless Ruth, the founder of the Snuggly Duckling, the protectors of the Dark Kingdom, and a spirit of a werewolf live and communicate. Now, each of these spirits definitely had their antagonistic moments as they all worked to fulfill their own desires and inflict upon the living what they thought to be what was best for themselves and the world. None of these entities were purely evil, they all had some good intention or understandable good intention behind them. But other spirits of another color were not easily empathized with. In contrast to those blue ghosts, we have also seen two followers of the evil demonic warlock known as Zon-Tiri, who, when in their true form, were both green spirits. Both Shigaracha and Shamus inflicted pure evil upon the world, attempting to bring destruction and chaos. One of my first thoughts about the Enchanted Girl was that she vaguely looked like a young Shigaracha, but since that follower of Zon-Tiri was banished to her master's dimension, and since she wasn't that green color, it's difficult to say whether or not she's tied to Zon-Tiri. I mean, of course, there's always the possibility that she's disguising her true form underneath the translucent small girl that she is currently known to be, especially since Zon-Tiri's followers have hidden as normal humans before, but we can't be sure for now. There is the possibility this is a completely new entity as well, that the Enchanted Girl has always been unknown to us, but I don't think the individual who could rip Rapunzel and Cassandra apart could be something completely foreign. I think it has to be someone that has a little more history with Rapunzel or Corona. That's why if the Enchanted Girl was going to be disguised as anyone, I would want it to be Zon-Tiri himself. Maybe Zon-Tiri is able to communicate to the human world from where he is imprisoned through the blue girl. Maybe this spirit is just his thoughts coming to life to control the people who could ensure or bring a stop to his, or I guess it could be her, return. I think it would just be amazing if we would learn that the Enchanted Girl was actually the ancient destructive warlock that we had seen come to life before. Those expectations of Rapunzel coming across a massive horned entity being shattered by the initial encounter with a small, innocent-looking girl, I think could be really powerful. But if the Enchanted Girl is not Zon-Tiri or tied to that horrible being, I think that this spirit could be a manifestation of the Moonstone itself. Since the Moonstone was a supremely powerful ancient gem that had the ability to cause death, ruin, decay, and destruction, what if its powers manifested to create a being to communicate its dark wishes? Throughout the show, we have been told that the Black Rocks have been guiding Rapunzel and have allowed their power to be used to protect her, suggesting that this deadly opal could have a mind of its own. There is a sense that these Black Rocks know who is around them and can lure and push away those they deem fit to hold onto their power. Maybe the Deadly Force is attempting to channel its power through Cassandra so that it can destroy the Sundrop and the rest of the world. Maybe that's why when King Edmund attempted to end its power, the Moonstone used its magic to almost kill the king, while when Cassandra hoped to covet its destructive abilities, it willingly bound itself to her. Maybe the Moonstone is just attempting to fulfill its dark purpose in a way unlike anything we have seen before, by being unleashed through manipulation. I think it's possible that throughout this whole journey, Rapunzel, Cassandra, and the rest of their friends were being guided by the Moonstone to inevitably be used to enact an unexplainable object's dark desires. Maybe all of their destinies have been altered by the luring rocks the Moonstone manifested so that it could end the Sundrop using the most susceptible member of Rapunzel's party. What if the reason the Moonstone needs a host to end Rapunzel is because if it doesn't, it will be neutralized by the Sundrop's life-bringing magic, as Rapunzel believed she was meant to do in the Dark Kingdom? Maybe the Moonstone hopes that it can eradicate the Sundrop while preserving itself. The Enchanted Girl has slowly been manipulating Cassandra to turn away from her friends, to take on Rage in the hopes of utilizing powerful magic, and to bring her to destroy Rapunzel, which leads me to believe there has to be an explanation for who this entity is. I think the Enchanted Girl is either a manifestation of Zon-Tiri from another dimension, or derives from the Moonstone itself.